Hey everybody, Brian Good here. We have a lot to cover, as you can only imagine, so I'm going to get right to it. First off, I do want to point out the normal to date, if you see there at the bottom, we sure to have an inch of snow in the books under our belts on the ground. Obviously, we're behind on that, but wouldn't be alarmed. It's still officially autumn. I know I say that seems like every year at this time, but it is true. We see things always catch up around here. Now, the snowboard. Watching this whole setup here really for Friday and Saturday night, Sunday, and then we'll talk about 22nd and then briefly about Christmas. But let me get right to the setup today. We've had a few reports of some flurries around southern Indiana, those clouds around the area today, but very cold air in the area because that snowpack around I-70 yesterday. It's 3 above in Indy, 20 here in Louisville, which as of last check, that would tie us still for the coldest we've been so far this season. We'll get the numbers in here shortly if we went below that. But that snowpack is also allowing temperatures like Seymour. You're now 1 above. You were 0 last hour. So that cold north wind over our area really driving the numbers down. That flat terrain in southern Indiana, that cold wind go all the way until it hits hills, basically, in Kentucky, and that's where it begins to stop. Nothing compared to what's behind the Arctic front, though. Actual numbers, International Falls, 9 below. You factor in the wind, 28 below. It's not going to get that bad, but it is going to get cold later on tonight. Here is our RPM model showing that tonight as the front moves in, could squeeze out some snow showers and flurries. Best chance east of Louisville and east of 65. We'll keep a small chance just in case. Looks dry though on Thursday, then Friday night into Saturday, the warm front moves in. Now NOAA is trying to bring down any mixed precip north of us Friday afternoon and evening, otherwise mainly a rain event as we head into Saturday. I say that because the other models are a lot faster on this, including the NAM model, which I know a lot of you have seen. The NAM model, this is basically Friday morning. It's not the warm front, it's ahead of the warm front. The warm front's still down here. But it's moisture ahead of the warm front is trying to indicate would move into the area in a frozen form. Now, question is, some that could be Virga, so it's not to be taken as verbatim at this point. And then it continues the warming trend slowly to rain in a mixed scenario around the area. Because keep in mind, even at this point, this is Friday afternoon, late afternoon, NAM still says we'll be about 29 degrees here in Louisville. It's awful cold. It even tries to show a freeze and rain potential in the northern counties once again, Indiana into Ohio. Remember, the RPM model has us way above this already as far as warmth at this point in time. So they're way off on timing still on the amount of moisture moving in and the low-level cold. Granted, the NAM scenario is not unheard of. Cold air is dense, it's heavy, it's hard to get out of the way. Question is, will the moisture rush in time and will it be able to reach the ground? And even if it did, it could allow for evaporative cooling and really cause some problems Friday afternoon evening. It's not a major deal at this point. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. It's only Wednesday. We still have another full day here to analyze the data before we really pick out one scenario that looks to be the most likely, because all we can go on at this point is just models. And it's something we'll be monitoring because the trend is certainly there. Even though it's showing frozen precipitation initially, we are going to see a push of warmer air work its way in. In fact, look at the 850 millibar winds. Strong, a tremendous amount of wind at 850. That is going to allow temperatures to be at the frozen level, basically, all the way up into the 60s, as it looks like, as we get into the afternoon hours on Saturday. I'm going 62 now for Louisville. Very, very warm surge into the area, and all that warm air, you can see it down there across Tennessee, upper 60s or so. That should work its quickly into Kentucky. Now, Indiana may miss out on that. The front may be moving in too quick. It may cut you guys off from getting that warm surge Saturday afternoon. But I would say on this line here, from Hopkinsville through Louisville, Cincinnati, and south and east, that is the zone that I think could see that surge into 60 or higher as we into Saturday. Then we'll get a band of rain and some thunder potentially moving through. But here's what I've noticed. This was the rainfall forecast. Let's take the GFS, for example, going back several days ago for this event coming up Saturday into Sunday morning. Over an inch of rain, which was concerning considering the cold air moving in, of course. Here's what it is now. About a half inch of rain for this event, concentrating the heavier amounts with the thunderstorm activity potentially in Tennessee into Mississippi and Alabama. This is not uncommon. As we get closer in time, the models concentrate, get more data, and pinpoint where it is. More so a few days ago, it was more broad-brushed on its general idea. But when you look at the snow factor, this is what I have for snow potential for the front as it moves in Saturday night into Sunday. And this is what it has now. So yes, it has more snow with it, but not as much moisture. And what is happening here is the moisture is leaving. It is lagging a bit, but there's not now a lot of deep moisture. The cold air is moving in quicker, it looks like. But cold air can certainly squeeze out quite a bit of moisture into the air you can get higher ratios when it comes to snowfall potential. And am I talking about a snowstorm? No, I'm not talking about a snowstorm. I'm just saying that you can't get a light coating of snow because the ratios will be better if we get that cold air really cold with that moisture still lagging behind in the area. And that's why these snow totals are up, especially in the Ozarks, for that very reason. Just something to watch. Put that in the back of our minds as we get closer in time. Don't pay attention to the amounts. Just think of the setup. And that's what I'll make sure you guys understand when I do these video blogs. I'm not picking out one particular model and saying that one's right and that one's wrong, that one's right and that one's wrong. I'm trying to give you an overall setup because you got to look at weather and meteorology that way. You can't look at it as the model is saying this. The models are just guidance or tools, all right? So the overall pattern is Arctic air in place Saturday. Warm surge is coming in. Question is, how much moisture will be pushing into the area and how much low-level cold will still be here when that happens? We've got to watch that. We have warm air, 850s are skyrocketing on Saturday, so we know we're going to have warm air, likely overachieve. We usually do in southwest winds. And then we're going to drop Saturday night. Question is then, how much moisture is around when the cold air moves in? Got to figure that out. We can't answer that yet. In addition to that, it's not something you can find on models, but it's something that we know here, is when we have moisture on the roadways and we deal with crashing temperatures. We're going from 60s to lower 20s, if not upper teens potentially, in about an 18-hour span. Potential is there for a flash freeze the roads because the winds really are not likely to ramp up with that cold surge until about a 6-hour delay after the cold air arrives. And therefore, potential is there for the roads to have very little opportunity to dry up. So we could have a flash freeze scenario overnight, Saturday night and Sunday. So that's something for those who have church services on Sunday morning especially. Stay tuned for the latest on that. We'll monitor that. Looking at the Christmas, this is the Euro ensembles here. We do have a system before Christmas that's already moving into the northeast at that point, and another one in the Rockies. According to the Euro, around Christmas will be under high pressure. Obviously, if the speed is different on either one of these systems, it's a completely different ballgame. Too early to make a call on that. Stay tuned.